Welcome to Take 5, the podcast. As always, I'm Nick Growall here with Taryn Sherwood.
Hey.
Corey Williams.
Hey.
Isaac Growall.
Hi.
And Roddy Peacock.
Hola. Buenos dias.
All right, well, today...
When did we get Antonio Banderas here?
We're trying to reach out bilingually.
You forgot to mention our special guest.
Our special guest...
Robert Downey Jr.
Robert Downey Jr.
He had throat surgery, though he can't talk.
He can't talk.
But he is here.
He is here.
He's nodding
He's here.
very, yes.
Huge fan.
Definitely here.
Huge fan.
Thumbs up from him right now.
Yeah, he's yep. All three.
Yeah. So anyway, it's a bit of a slow week in the world of movie news and stuff, but we're going to try and mix it up, make it a little interesting here. First off, we'll start off, as we always do, with our box office news.
Box office random.
Thank you, Ratty. This is like that cheesy 80s radio, like, Dingo and the Baby. Billy and the Wombat. Anyway, this week, the sequel in the Divergent series, Insurgent, came out. The movie that ripped off of the success of the not-so-great series, Hunger Games. Any arguments? Okay.
It's good. Yeah, the books are great.
Yes, right. But the movies
Movies not so bueno.
Right, got it. Okay.
They're not bad.
But you're taking a not bad, and you're going to read off the not bad success and make a series.
Well, okay.
You see what I'm saying?
This is a whole thing of diminishing returns. You know, Harry Potter did it fantastically. Twilight tried to do it and got moderate success out of its fan base. Mm-hmm. Hunger Games is kind of struggling now.
No, we're not talking about Hunger Games. Let's move on. I don't want to talk about it. Let's go.
Why?
Whoa, Isaac is being really defensive.
We need to tap into this.
Where did Hunger Games touch you?
Everywhere.
Let's explore this.
No, it's okay.
Show us on Tommy's phone where the Hunger Games touched you.
You mean Rowdy's phone?
Rowdy's.
Oh, Nick.
Tommy usually sits here. I'm sorry. It was instinct. Tommy could not be here today.
Rowdy's crying.
I don't have a comeback for that.
Just sad.
They were interchangeable, apparently, in Nick's eyes. Anyway, you were saying, Isaac?
Isaac puts his whole hand over the phone. Rowdy's phone. Yes. But anyway, it made $54 million this weekend. Not a bad haul. Second place was Cinderella, which has now made $122 million overall. It made 34 this weekend.
I guess that's pretty good.
So it's a hit. It's a hit. Direct hit.
So we get Cinderella 2 next year?
Oh, God. They're going to get the team up, the princess team up coming soon.
So wait, are we going to eventually get like a Disney Princess Avengers movie?
I'm assuming.
It's got that feel.
Isn't that what they're building to? Because Frozen and Tangled are the same animation. And
yeah, we'll just eventually get, like, the princesses have to team up and save their men for once.
Right, because that's the way the world works now. Because men are stupid.
Yeah.
Anyway, third place was Run All Night, the Liam Neeson movie. The Gunman, Sean Penn's attempt to be Liam Neeson, failed miserably. Mm-hmm. Only $5 million this weekend, for both of them. Which brings Run All Night, Liam Neeson's action movie, to a grand total of $19 million.
Ooh.
And then we have Kingsman, Secret Service is still doing okay. It's made $114 million. And the second best exotic Marigold Hotel has made $24 million.
Yes!
So,
we're going to get a trilogy.
The third best.
Oh, gosh.
And SpongeBob has reached $158 million. You should go watch our drive back video of that. Hopefully we'll do more in the future. I was hoping you guys would actually follow through.
Hopefully we'll go see movies.
I was hoping you guys would follow through and actually watch Cinderella while we were gone.
Here's the problem. Taryn and I were down to go watch Cinderella. But Taryn and I, as two adult males, can't just go to Cinderella together.
Yeah, we're not Isaac and Tommy. Can just go see 50 Shades of Grey.
There was a lady there
that came into the story like a week after you told us.
Yeah, you made her up.
She's
Allie
real.
bailed. Once our girl bailed, it was really difficult for us to go.
Yeah.
Because there's strength in numbers, and
well,
if you don't have numbers,
justify it by that the guy from Game of Thrones is in it. Thought it was going to be hardcore Cinderella story.
Be way more violent.
Yeah. Disney is the Nirvana of Game of Thrones. You die, you go to a Disney movie. That's how it works.
Wow, Disney's going to be making a lot of movies.
A lot of movies.
Wow.
A lot of movies. Moving on past there, in trailers, do you have a theme for trailers? Ready?
Themed for trailers coming soon.
All right, thank you.
All right.
Okay.
Oh, I like it.
That's good. That's good. We have,
Don't ever come up with one. That's it.
That's always coming this summer. Next summer.
We had the trailer for Mission Impossible 5, now called Rogue Nation.
Which is 3 too many Mission Impossibles now.
The director is Christopher McQuarrie. I
What else
don't
is
know
he?
him. But we watched the teaser, which was actually more of a trailer than a teaser. It showed us quite a
Well,
bit.
it didn't give us a plot, really.
Not
It
really.
showed a bunch of him, like, running.
Oh, he did. Valkyrie?
Well,
And fighting.
that is the plot, isn't it?
Yeah,
Like
it's Tom
that's been the
Cruise.
plot for like the last 5 films.
Just him running.
Okay, so the director, Christopher McQuarrie, he's made Edge of Tomorrow, Jack the Giant Slayer, Jack Reacher,
Yeah.
The
Whoa.
Tourist,
Nick said, about a Tom Cruise movie.
because it was in.
That's impossible.
This
Who are you?
director's actually done a lot
Was
of
it
Tom
Mission
Cruise
Impossible?
movies
He's,
on
he's a
this
pretty
list.
big. He's a mark for Tom Cruise here.
Yeah.
So, Tom, I got an idea.
Tom, let me do the next Mission Impossible movie.
In a world where
I
you're
don't
not
know.
5'3".
But Valkyrie, Jack Reacher, and Edge of Tomorrow are all pretty.
He also did
Solid.
The Usual Suspects. He wrote the script.
Okay, that was a good movie.
So
Winning this back.
one good movie.
And he
so
also looks suspiciously
Well,
like
he
Edge of
Stephen
Tomorrow.
King.
He said The Tourist. I liked The Tourist.
it was okay.
I enjoyed it.
It got hated on, but it was okay. Surprising people I didn't know were in the movie. Alec Baldwin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is he in it?
I think he's just like
Is
you
he
know
a bad guy?
you know
He's
how
a bad guy.
He's a-
you know
He's
how
a
there's a
bad guy and
rotating
he's got a
chair
book
of
camp.
just people in charge of Tom Cruise. Like we had Lawrence Fishburne, Anthony Hopkins, and
What happened to
then
Billy Crudup?
apparently they rotated him out.
Aw.
Apparently you can't stay that long in the top organization.
So,
Really
That's the way it
short
works.
turnover
Yeah.
for Tom Cruise's boss. Yeah.
Just makes sense. But what are your thoughts on the trailer we watched? Because we watched it right before the podcast.
It showed a lot in
it looked
very little time.
It was very actiony.
looked like Mission Impossible trash.
Very descriptive. Isaac?
I liked it. I'm probably gonna watch it, but I thought it was weird when they showed him hanging onto the plane.
Well,
That
they
felt
have
a little
to.
stretched
He has
out.
to do one thing to top himself every time.
Well, how's he gonna
But it
run
was
up
like,
there, Nick?
I mean, like just how long they showed that. It was like
I'm pretty sure
Okay.
he jumps off his
Well, it's
motorcycle.
because
and
it's a big deal because
lands on
Tom
it.
Cruise actually did that stunt. So that in the trailer they wanted you
Oh.
to see it. Like, look,
Okay.
this is Tom Cruise hanging on a plane
that makes more sense.
for
now.
reals.
It looked like a whole lot of. It
like
was
he
Tom
will probably
Cruise,
die.
Trailer looked like a whole lot of Tom Cruise on a motorcycle running, and then Simon Pegg being shocked by everything he's doing.
Yeah, it
Does
looks like a
anyone
buddy
else,
cop movie.
It was a
hate
buddy cop.
Simon Pegg as much as me.
No, just you.
No,
Because that, man, I
You have a
can't
thing
s-
about British people,
I can't stand. I just
He's
can't stand Simon
awesome.
Pegg.
or
Simon
Benedict
Pegg is like the
Cumberbatch.
British Chris Pratt right now. He just puts himself in too
Not
much.
really.
No.
He just comes up in all these franchises, but
No.
more of in a supporting role than
The
a
only
lead
one
role.
he's in
Like
is
the
Star
supporting
Trek.
Yeah.
And Mission Impossible. He's been in the
Which
last
came
three.
out like 4 years ago.
Well, he's been in like the last 3. He's franchising himself.
So
I think more people know him from like Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz than they know him from Star Trek or Mission Impossible.
And those are both stupid movies.
Oh my god.
Isaac and Taryn are displeased with Corey's
There's
conversation.
no like Simon Pegg. I'm sorry.
But
Or
anyway,
doesn't like any.
I was
popular-
sold on the idea, but you're all gonna say just because it's Tom Cruise, so whatever.
Well, I don't have anything against Tom Cruise except for maybe the whole Scientology thing.
Is Scientology that bad, or is it
Yes.
the gateway? Is it the actual secret to
They
the
flat out
universe?
tried to kill people, Nick.
It's
Yes.
just kind of out there.
It's
It is.
literally you pay thousands upon thousands of dollars to be in it.
So you're just mad because you don't have the money.
Well,
What
what's
kind
that?
of religion means you have to be rich to like?
My whole thing is, what does any of that have to do with his movies? I don't know. He won me back after Tropic Thunder, so I've been a mark for Tom Cruise ever since.
I don't hate
Tropic
Tom
Thunder.
Cruise. I just like that Nick is a huge Tom Cruise fan. It's just
He
it
just
strikes
he
me
just
as
looked for
funny.
every opportunity to bash Tom Cruise because of it.
Yeah.
The thing about it is like I'm not that into Tom Cruise. It's just like I enjoy his movies. It's not like I have a poster of him in my room or anything.
What was that? What was the 80s
I
hairband
don't
movie?
I don't have a poster of Tom Cruise in my room.
Where
What was the 80s hairband music?
Oh, the Rock of Ages.
yeah,
He carried that movie.
He
on
carried the
shoulders.
movie,
Like,
yeah.
Tom Cruise carried that entire film.
He was
on
the
his
only one that
shoulders.
showed up and did his homework.
Yeah.
he showed up at the reading, at the first reading, actually in full costume.
There you go.
Everyone else is all dressed normally. He's there with like long hair and a bandana.
Everybody else was like, "Oh yeah, a Broadway movie," and he's like, "No,
He just went full
this is
Brett
real
Michaels
life."
at the read through. Like it was.
Guys, you don't even know. I lived the '80s, guys.
I do have to say, he does give me hope that you can be successful and wanted at the height of 5'3".
There you go. Hope for vertically challenged individuals.
It's true. I liked Mission Impossible 3, and I thought it should end at 3. 3 was a really, really great film.
I honestly didn't know they did a fourth movie.
Speaking of fourth movies, there's a fourth Transporter coming out.
Ooh, that was a good segue, guys.
But
we're getting good. We're getting good at this.
Better at this. Jason Statham is not in it. They've replaced him with Ed Skrein or something.
It's Skrein.
It's European.
Scrine.
He was in nothing. Apparently, he was in Game of Thrones. He's Dario. Is that the? Is this the?
That's Dario Naharis. That's the original Dario. I see that the one they replaced him.
Okay.
They replaced him in season 4. I never knew why they replaced him. But
so his claim to fame is he was in
Game of Thrones
for a
like
while.
3 episodes.
He was, and then his character was given to somebody else the next season. I don't know if it was a scheduling thing or why.
Apparently, he decided he wanted to be the Transporter instead of the Daenerys's boy toy.
That was a bad.
That was a mistake.
Bad move.
But yeah, it's there's a fourth one coming out. The trailer was underwhelming. It played "How You Like Me Now" in a trailer for like the 50th time.
Very original.
Yes, so I don't really care to see it.
Statham has moved on to the top tier of car movies,
which is
the Furious series,
which has Ronda Rousey in it. Did you know that?
That'd be terrifying.
She fights Michelle Rodriguez, and there's a clip I saw, and she literally gives the line, "I'm glad you showed up. I hate parties."
What does that mean?
It's a line.
Is it
Does it
like
have to mean anything? There's fast cars.
They're
and
about to
explosions
fight, and like all her minions were fighting Michelle, and she took them all out, even though they all apparently knew kung fu or something.
Oh.
And then Ronda Rousey in a dress is like, "I'm glad you showed up. I hate parties," and then went to punch her.
It's like the line from Godzilla where he's like, "That's a lot of fish," and it just doesn't really. It's just a lot of fish.
I don't even know.
I don't
You
know
don't
what you're.
Never
Anyway,
mind. Thought you guys would get that.
Nope.
But yeah, so there's that. Those are the two main ones. That's about it for trailers. There was a Game of Thrones trailer, but we're more movies than TV. But we're all excited about
movie
that.
Of television.
That's pretty much it. So we had a whole discussion about that, about how TV is slowly becoming as good as movies.
Yeah.
Rowdy, if you ever bring up TV again on this podcast, you're off.
Oh, that escalated very quickly.
It's Corey's turn to be.
I know, you almost just Game of Thrones me right there really quickly.
Anyway, we were.
Wait, does that count as a reference?
I don't know.
The end of March is approaching, and as is every March, there is a big sports event that comes once a year.
Boo.
March Madness?
No, not that one. The other one.
WrestleMania.
Oh,
okay.
The one that everybody should care about.
I semi-retract my boo.
Okay, very good, very good.
I still hate sports, but I'll
Yes.
let you guys have this.
For those of you who are not aware, Wrestlemania is a wrestling
Did you say
event.
WrestleMania, like the dog, like the new Air Bud movie?
Oh God, hope not. So
Just saying, there is a new Air Bud
there is a
installation.
Air Bud ripoff that's called Wrestlemania.
No, it's a legit Air Bud.
Wouldn't it be like Buddy Mania?
It has the Air Bud stamp on it. It's just now it's like a Jack Russell Terrier.
Yeah.
It's gonna wrestle.
But anyway, WrestleMania comes next week, and it's in San Francisco.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And next year we'll be in Dallas, which
We're all going.
will hopefully be there. So, but we just want to talk about wrestlers in film because there's actually been a good number of wrestlers that have been in movies.
History.
There's a rich history there, and a lot of people just immediately associate, "Oh, you mean just The Rock," and they forget that other wrestlers have contributed to filmmaking.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to open up some discussions of maybe a favorite cameo or favorite role played by a wrestler, but I don't
want to go first.
We can just go down the line. Rowdy?
I'll go. Hulk Hogan as Thunder Lips in Rocky 3.
He actually got fired by WWF for taking that role.
Because they told him not to.
Yeah.
Told him he couldn't. So
Strangely enough, Vince McMahon, Mr. I want to be I want to be relevant.
Mainstream,
Yeah.
fired him. He went to AWA, made a name
Yeah.
for himself, came back.
What was that movie that had Steve Austin in it where he had to like survive on an island?
But Condemned.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Was it?
There's a sequel coming out soon starring Randy Orton.
The
Okay,
Biker.
maybe.
Sergeant Slaughter was in G.I. Joe the movie as an animated.
Sergeant Slaughter is an official G.I. Joe.
Officially,
Yeah.
He's got his own action figures and stuff.
yes. I'm just
I-
kind of going through a list here. You know,
Terry Funk was in Roadhouse.
in Roadhouse.
Oh, that's right.
Roadhouse is a great movie.
Kevin Nash has been in Magic Mike
and he's been in a bunch of the Sandler films.
a lot of the Sandler films. He's also been. He was in what we just talked about. He was Tom Cruise's bodyguard
Oh, in Rock of Ages.
in Rock of Ages, and
Yeah.
he was also in
He's
Punisher.
the Russian.
Yeah,
the
the
Punisher.
Russian
Yeah.
Punisher.
That was a good role.
And he was in John Wick. He was.
He was.
He was
Which
the.
one?
He was the big guard at
He's
the
the
door.
bouncer.
Yeah, the bouncer at the door.
Oh, like the one. Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, the tall guy.
That
yeah.
was cool.
That's
yeah.
him.
Kevin Nash is the tall guy.
The tall
In
guy.
every movie, yeah.
Yeah. We need a big, tall, burly, imposing man that can change his hair color. How about Kevin Nash? Well, okay.
So,
I would say, hands down, Andre the Giant, Princess Bride.
That's
Yeah.
a good one. That was a good one.
Favorite role by a wrestler
Yes.
in any film.
Like,
apparently-
I will definitely get on board that one.
George the Animal Steel and Ed Wood.
Yeah, and he's actually playing an actual pro wrestler that played that role in Plan 9 from Outer Space.
Okay.
The original role was played by a Tor or something like that, a wrestler from back then.
Okay. All right. Cool. There was also Goldberg in Santa's Sleigh, but he's not the only holiday.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a great movie.
I need to watch
The
it.
opening scene is just stop there.
Let's just stop. We were good.
It's like he kills a bunch of B-list actors in a it's almost meta.
Okay.
It's really great.
Got it. So, but he's not the only one that's been in a holiday movie. The Big Show or the Giant, depending on your era of wrestling you watched, he was in Jingle All the Way. He was
True.
the giant Santa Claus that Schwarzenegger fought in the Santa Claus
And
fight.
Captain Insano from Waterboy.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he's had a few.
Jesse Ventura in The Running Man.
Oh,
He's also in another Sandler movie, Happy Gilmore. Near the end.
Who?
Oh,
The guy that gets the
yeah.
golf ball stuck on his foot that the opposing guy has to...
Is he a wrestler?
I think so.
He could be.
I think
He was
he's a
pretty
football
big.
player, wasn't he?
We have a photo of Andre the
Ball
Giant.
struck
Andre the Giant making Arnold Schwarzenegger look like Tom Cruise
Oh, he was in Conan the Destroyer.
in Conan the Destroyer.
Not as good as his Princess Bride.
And Kane kind of had, well, you know, WWE, they started their own movie studio, and for a while it was meant to push a lot of their wrestlers.
But then they started making movies
And then
without
they,
wrestlers.
like, there's a Halle Berry movie about kidnapping.
Or the Oculus.
and there's
Yeah,
like, yeah, there's
Oculus.
like, there's sometimes they have cameos.
But the original one, was the original one the Marine? Or was
Maybe.
Kane See No Evil?
I can't remember.
They both came out around the same time.
Yeah.
They were really trying to push both of them. But of course, The Rock got his debut. I would say I believe it was The Mummy Returns, where he was Scorpion King,
Yeah.
and then that gave him a spin-off with his own movie, which proved he could carry himself outside
Well,
of.
that, but you know, I would say there out the gate he was an action star until he was in that Travolta sequel. Be
Yeah,
Cool.
Be Cool, where
Yeah.
He was super good in that. I
Yeah.
think that's the role that
Where he
said
played
I can do more than just be
the big burly action
an
star.
action star.
Even though that's what he's doing.
Yeah.
No. He's come back. He'd come back around. So, you know, John Cena, as much as we love or hate him, he he has 12 rounds, the Marine, different things like that.
Well, and he Cena's in an upcoming comedy.
Yeah,
It's
he's.
like is it an Apatow comedy?
I believe it is an Apatow comedy. I can't remember the girl's name. I'll look it up here in a
Megan
second.
something.
She's,
Megan
yeah.
something?
He pretty much plays like a ridiculous bodybuilder who's full of
Yeah.
himself.
There's
So
a sex scene in it.
right, yeah,
He's-
he like a little premature going on. Randy Savage in the original Spider-Man.
Yes. It was long.
Yeah.
Rest in peace. Who's going into the Hall of Fame this weekend?
Yes.
Yeah,
Finally.
he is.
So there's a WWE Hall of Fame, in case you were wondering.
It's not really.
They need to make it a
legit.
real thing, though. They need to like make it a place we can visit.
It doesn't have a lot of integrity. Arnold Schwarzenegger's also.
And the
in
most
it.
recent kind of breakout star of
He
WWE.
had to be seen. Yet to be seen if he's going to break out or if he's just getting lucky.
He's
in a good trial run.
He's
right
in
now.
a trial run right now. Batista. He started off at his biggest one initially was Man with the Iron Fist, which was a
Oh yeah.
Wu-Tang
I saw
Russell
that.
Crowe
It was
collaboration.
really cool.
It was
he was
fun.
in Riddick.
He was in Riddick, but his biggest role to date is Guardians of the Galaxy as Drax the Destroyer,
Mm-hmm.
which he got a lot of critical praise for and stuff. And I thought he did a good job in it.
Yeah. He had some very memorable lines.
It was, let us put this drink more into our faces. Yeah.
I think they took advantage of his lack of film acting. Because if you really think about it, wrestling,
It's
WWE,
theater.
it's live theater. You're talking very big. You're reaching out. Even though you have a microphone, it's big, it's boisterous. And so with film, you have to bring it down
There's
quite a bit.
storylines that you have to act out and stuff.
I think South Park
And
did
even
an episode.
Even the
just
matches
on that.
themselves have to tell a story. There has to be a
Right.
beginning, middle, and end to the matches themselves. The athleticism actually has storytelling involved.
And I think a lot of people, they look at wrestling and go, it's either their argument is fake or it's just a bunch of bodybuilders. And it's like, and listening to other wrestlers in interviews and podcasts, they get frustrated because it's hard for them to get work. Like Chris Jericho, I think even one of his books, isn't it called like I'm Chris Jericho?
Yeah.
And like, cause talking about him trying to get movie roles, and they're like, and like even when Batista was doing Guardians of the Galaxy, and they would be overseas somewhere filming, and all these kids would run up to Batista and like want to shake his hand or give him autograph or something. And all these A-list actors are just looking at him like, he's like, guys, I've been on TV for like the past 10 years.
Yeah.
You guys,
This guy.
it's like mainstream Hollywood just doesn't understand that there's this very large fan base.
Well, wrestling's always going to be that. It's always going to be somewhat shameful.
Yeah.
It's always going to be like for kids and somewhat shameful. But I want to.
Yes.
Isaac. You have a favorite, right?
Favorite wrestler?
Wrestler in a movie. Did you not say it earlier?
Did you not say
Well,
it
I
earlier?
said, there was the Steve Austin in
The Condemned
movie.
That was
yeah.
really good.
Steve Austin also did.
But you earlier, before the podcast,
Oh,
we were
yeah,
discussing this. You said literally one of the most famous ones.
Rowdy Roddy Piper
Yeah.
voiced someone in Adventure Time.
That's
not what.
I know, but no, the movie he was in.
They Live.
They Live.
It's
Literally,
is probably the most famous
quote from an action movie.
Yeah, in wrestling role of that era.
And for those of you that don't know it, Corey, go ahead and say it real quick.
With the I'm here to chew bubblegum and kick ass.
And I'm all out of bubblegum.
Yeah.
Yes, that's Roddy Piper. So in case you're wondering, if somebody says that around you, now you know.
That came from Roddy Piper.
And
the rest.
Not Rowdy Peacock, but or Duke Nukem.
I wish I had.
But we're just going through this entire list here. You can see that there's.
Is that El Santo?
El Santo, yeah.
El Santo's been in a ton. Mostly Hispanic.
Yes, wearing his luchador mask.
Yeah. No, do not take that off.
Don't ever take it off. Never take off the mask.
We're also partly doing this because in honor of a guy that Rey Mysterio killed in the ring.
Apparently.
Rest in peace.
Wrestler and is he a luchador himself?
Yeah.
Rey Mysterio, who left WWE recently, killed a man in a ring. And as believe it or not, that's a very rare occurrence actually.
I think
wrestling.
like 13 people are so far died in a ring.
So,
rest in peace, Perro Aguayo.
Yes. But there's a lot of history with wrestlers in movies, and initially it's okay. We need a big burly guy. Let's get Andre the Giant. Let's get Kevin Nash. Let's get the Big Show.
Mm-hmm.
But people like The Rock, like Stone Cold, even to an extent. And Hulk Hogan kind of broke that gap a little bit, but he's ended up in a lot of really kind of children's movies. Nothing of critical nature by any means.
But some of these wrestlers, when they start breaking out in movies, they do start dropping their, wrestling persona, the name and all that. Like, forever it was The Rock as a role.
Or
now
Dwayne
it's
The Rock Johnson.
Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Now it's
Johnson.
Dwayne Johnson.
Yeah.
Like a lot of, you might see some people now that actually didn't know he used to be a
wrestler.
When he went back to WWE for a while, I think he just hosted a couple of Raws, and everyone's like, "Oh, it's like he's done this before. He's so good. He's the most electrifying man in sports entertainment."
Because when you see actors come to a wrestling show to host, it's automatically evident that they have no experience in it. Like Hugh Jackman of all people.
That is so surreal. I've never thought about that. There was actually kids that thought some actor just showed up and got to headline WrestleMania with John Cena twice.
Yeah.
They're like, man, Dwayne Johnson he's pretty good at this.
Yes.
I saw that you had Jesse Ventura and Predator.
Yeah, Jesse Ventura and Predator. That was a good one.
That is a good one.
And Roddy Piper in They Live.
The stunt double for Schwarzenegger and Ventura in Predator actually has a boat at my marina.
Really?
Wow.
That's pretty sweet.
It's exciting. And you can even reverse it. You can even look at the impact movies have had on wrestling in a way.
Yeah.
Because like Sting, he took an entire gimmick from
Sting.
the movie The
Sting
Crow.
is a wrestler who became popular in the 80s. Again in the 90s. He reinvented himself based off of the movie
The Crow,
Yeah.
which they're making a reboot of.
And he's actually appearing at WrestleMania this weekend for the first time.
As that character.
As
the
the
Crow
Crow
character. With the
character.
trench coat and the
So,
makeup and everything. And
WWE has a tendency to
not be original?
Not be original, rip off. I wanted to be nice about it, but they take ideas from movies and music and stuff and use them as their own. Which I mean is what you do when you have a weekly show that never ends all year round. But
and I'm looking forward to they're releasing a movie soon that Dean Ambrose, he's a new wrestler, but he's very charismatic and very well. Like he's got a very he's very good on the microphone. We call that having good mic skills in wrestling. And he created kind of his own character coming in that I know he said he based kind of off the Joker, Heath Ledger's the Joker. Like he was unhinged in a way. So I think he actually may succeed in acting. And then CM Punk recently just said in an interview that he's looking into going into film.
CM Punk is a wrestler who just quit WWE
but
because
still the most popular wrestler
still
alive.
the most popular wrestler in the company at the moment, despite not wrestling a match in a year.
He's been out for 14 months and they still chant his name.
And he's going into UFC, but he's also expressed interest in movies after
and
that.
I think he could.
I think he could nail it, yeah.
Well.
And the thing about CM Punk, and this is what's happening in wrestling for those of you that aren't watching, is that you're starting to see smaller wrestlers. And a lot of people might think, well, that's not a good thing. Well, they're more athletic and they can do more crazy moves and stuff. But what the good thing about that is when you translate that to film, they aren't the big burly guy. They're a normal-sized guy like Daniel Bryan or Dean Ambrose or Dolph Ziggler, the 6-foot guy that just happens to do wrestling and do crazy moves and stuff. So, and someone like CM Punk, who not only has excellent speaking skill, he can act really well and things like that. So it makes they won't stand out as much. It's not like Batista can't play James Bond or he can't play Indiana Jones.
Yeah, so you're actually seeing this
a regular
this evolution in wrestling where the wrestlers are actually getting somewhat smaller and more agile, which means if they do step into acting, there's a more array of roles they could play.
Right. Yes.
Actually, rather than John Cena can only play in. I mean, The Rock's made a career out of it. He's doing well. He's absolutely the most bankable dude in Hollywood. But he is
Viagra
roles,
for any flailing movie franchise.
There's still roles he can't play,
right.
And stuff. So
I don't know. He played the Tooth Fairy.
This is true. This is touche.
But we were talking about wrestling's effect on, or Hollywood's effect on wrestling. But there's also been movies that have been made either about wrestling or that happen to be centered around wrestling. Just to name a few of the more major ones, obviously WCW was very involved with Ready to Rumble, starring David Arquette,
movie ever.
Where it's pretty meta because it's actually involves a lot of the wrestlers in character during the WCW run of the 90s. And then you have, Corey has said that it's the best one ever. Has everyone seen Ready to Rumble? Isaac probably hasn't.
I have not.
We'll force him to watch it later.
The beauty of Ready to Rumble is in the 90s, wrestling was at its peak in popularity. It was the most popular thing, period, was wrestling. I mean, they were making record numbers that I still think haven't been beaten on TV in terms of ratings and viewership because you had two huge companies competing. So they're both putting out the best product possible. WCW released Ready to Rumble, unfortunately, kind of as they were dying. It was almost kind of started to be like their last-ditch efforts. Like, let's pour a bunch of
money into
a film that unfortunately gave us David Arquette as a world heavyweight champion at one point on television. But I think, because I've gone back and watched that movie like in the last even year, and I say it's great just because it's still nostalgic.
So you'd say
to that time,
it holds up pretty well.
It just holds up because it just reminds me of being in middle school when this was so huge and so popular.
Right, it just harkens back to that era when these guys were the superheroes of our growing up age. Now they have actual superheroes, but we had superheroes.
Yeah, exactly.
Undertaker and Sting and everything. What was our Batmans and Supermans and all of that. But there's also movies that have been looked into it, like The Wrestler is a really well-known one with Mickey Rourke.
Because it wants to take like a behind-the-scenes look of what it's like to struggle in that career when you had made it before, but you kind of fallen out.
Wrestling.
Yeah.
And for some of them, there's not because it's
no
kind of like
skill.
it's kind of like a football or basketball player. You know, they have the adjustment to citizenship, even if you could define it as that, because going so long as being a celebrity or being, a wrestler, and that's all you did for forever, and then you have no real social skills about how to work a regular job or a 9 to 5 or just go about a regular off the road experience. Because these people, for those of you that don't know, they spend 365 days a year traveling. They might get some off time, but a lot of time they're on a bus, they're on a plane.
There's no off season.
There is no off season in wrestling, unlike football and basketball. And these guys do sustain injuries. It is fake in the sense that there are scripted lines and scripted scenarios, and the winner is usually decided before the match even starts. But the performance, it's everything that they do. It's like Sylvester Stallone commented when Stone Cold Steve Austin was in the original Expendables.
They had to do the fight scene.
They were doing a fight
him,
scene,
like him wrestling moves and stuff.
And one thing after talking with Stone Cold Steve Austin's, I believe was it Stone Cold that said it?
I think Stone Cold was showing Sylvester a lot of stuff, and Sylvester said he had a new appreciation for professional wrestlers because.
And he said, the thing about it is you can't fake gravity.
Yeah.
Because
no matter what, you're coming down and hitting something, and stuff like that. You can't fake a lot of it. Which, I mean, the wrestler I think is cool. It's Mickey Rourke. It got a lot of critical acclaim. It was up for an Oscar and all that stuff. It just shows kind of that side that's a reality of wrestling that they don't really like to promote.
Right.
But it's come out in the years that, like, these dudes have developed drug habits because there's no off season, no off time.
Or just injuries and stuff.
They cheat on their wives constantly because they're never home. So they become really dependent on drugs, alcohol, and stuff because they're working hurt. Because if you don't work, you don't get paid.
Right.
Only now, like in the last 10 years, has WWE become a publicly traded company where they pay these guys even if they're not, even if they're hurt or something like that. And that's not even always the case. Like CM Punk just recently came out and said,
that's the reason he left. Yeah.
I was injured, but you don't get paid if you don't work. And so I mean, it shows the ugly side of the business,
right? For
sure, the wrestler does. It's a depressing film.
Yeah. So, is there any other notable films that you guys have seen that, whether they're about wrestling or they feature a favorite wrestler? A lot of these that I'm looking up, as I've been Googling the wrestling, it brings up a lot of like actual amateur wrestling, which is the high school, college level,
Greco-Roman style, Olympic style wrestling.
But like there's comedies like Nacho Libre, which focus on the luchadors and
stuff. It's a terrible film. It's so stupid.
But is there any others in particular? Corey, you're more the expert in it, but I didn't know if you.
I mean, I would say that it started with Vern Gagne making The Wrestler, like in the 70s.
Yeah.
I think that was like the first like actual feature-length film.
Right.
That I can think of that was like about wrestling.
Yeah, I think
that was mainly just to put himself over.
Really, I think the most interesting way to look into wrestling is just to look at some of the documentaries.
I would say documentaries are the most popular thing in wrestling.
Because I mean, even if you're a novice, if you have no idea about wrestling, the best way to kind of get an idea into this world is definitely looking at some of the documentaries covering different wrestling superstars or just certain eras of the time. The WDB has a network, a streaming network,
a Netflix type site,
and you can watch old matches and you can watch documentaries on there. But they have a series that talked about the most popular era of wrestling, the Monday Night War, where there were two giant corporations, essentially like if there were two NBAs or there were two NFLs at this time, competing against one another
on the same night, even so.
And so it's definitely interesting to look into that. But
I would recommend Beyond the Mat or the Hitman Hart Wrestling with Shadows. Those are the documentaries that are just most critically acclaimed.
Is that the one that covers the Montreal Screwjob?
Yeah, like literally it's a documentary that accidentally covered the most infamous thing that's ever happened in wrestling. Yeah. By accident, they covered it.
Right. They just happened to be covering this guy as he was switching companies in wrestling, and he had the world championship at the time, and he didn't want to give it up to this guy who was a professional and personal rival of his, and so they
didn't want to drop it in Canada.
Didn't want to drop it in his home nation of Canada, and so they screwed him over and basically found a way to get him to lose the title to him that night.
Yeah, it's called shooting. Like they literally instead of they told him this is how the ending is scripted. You're gonna win. Instead, in the ring, they called it, and they totally screwed him over. Made it look like he lost. They made it look like he tapped out to his own thing.
Right.
and it was a huge deal. So this documentary just
covered-
accidentally stumbles into gold.
Because we've watched it, and literally, like you said, they go, "Man, this would be a great movie," but it's like, why make a movie? You can't top the real life scenario that you just watched.
They had cameras around the actual event. It was nuts.
And so, are there any other final thoughts on just wrestling and film overall? Speaking of just in the future of wrestling, Batista, who got popular with Guardians of the Galaxy, he will be in the next James Bond movie, Spectre. Mm-hmm. He's playing the beefy henchman, the muscle of the group. But
and The Rock's got a bunch of stuff coming out.
The Rock always
Furious
has
7's
something
coming out.
Yeah.
San Andreas is just not getting its trailers out.
Yeah,
he's going to be in the DC cinematic universe as
Yes.
Black Adam. So The Rock will always be around.
I don't think The Rock is going to ever have an issue getting a job in Hollywood at any point in time.
They are releasing DDP, Diamond Dallas Page, is releasing a documentary film over Jake the Snake Roberts. It's called The Resurrection of Jake the Snake Roberts. Because if you ever watch Beyond the Mat, you see probably a wrestler at his all-time low. I think the wrestler's somewhat based around Jake the Snake.
Okay.
A guy that literally was depressed and just drugs, cheating, lost his family, lost everything.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I'd heard that too, that it was really kind of loosely based on.
Yeah,
Jake the Snake.
and DDP's he's an ex-wrestler who's taken in a bunch of wrestlers that have fallen down that path, drug addiction, lost everything, and he lets them live with him, and he watches them, he makes them go through his DDP yoga stuff and work out with them, get them off drugs. I know that Jake the Snake's found religion, found God. He's like Shawn Michaels or Sting.
Yeah.
And so his life's back on track, and now he's helping train. I think and Scott Hall's another one that did that, but I know that they filmed a lot of the recovery of Jake the Snake, and they're going to make it into a documentary film.
Well, that's cool. It's good to know that, because a lot of people there's such a negative vibe, mainstream-wise, about wrestling, whether it's that they think it's stupid or they think it's a seedy organization, but there are great stories that come out of people
I'd agree.
overcoming odds and things.
I think Diamond Dallas Page is a cool dude and what he does. But I think the last thing I would end this whole segment on is you should watch wrestling.
Yes, you should.
It's
and watch WrestleMania this weekend.
Unshamefully watch wrestling.
Yes.
It's fun. It's entertaining.
Even as an adult.
It's cheesy and you yell a bunch. Me
but
and Nick
it's
text
fun.
each other a lot. But
yeah. Anyway, is it time for you to... it's time for Isaac to leave us now.
Bye,
It's time
Isaac.
to
His
go.
spring break is officially over.
Go back to work.
So, have fun. Any last thoughts, Isaac?
Not really.
Bring us a pizza.
No.
Anyway.
You could just stay here and just ripped on me for a minute. I'm not bringing you squat.
Come on, Isaac, bring us pizza.
Come on. All right. Well, bye.
You're going to come back and sit down for a while.
Change your face.
Speaking of spring break being over, we just wrapped up the spring break here in our lovely home state. And so I wanted to kind of touch on the theme of spring break, of vacationing and partying in movies. Because there's a decent amount of history involving movies, whether it's about teenagers going somewhere to party. I have a list of some movies here that just happen to be spring break. Obviously, the most recent case being Spring Breakers, which is about all these Disney idols deciding they're going to go to spring break, but they do it robbing stores and stuff. It has James Franco in a strange role. A lot of spring break themed horror movies.
Yeah.
You've got Spring Break Massacre, Black Spring Break.
Out of curiosity, have we ever told the audience what our home state is?
I don't know if we
Because
have.
I feel like we shouldn't. We're shrouded in controversy
That's
now.
fine, yeah, whatever.
Because that doesn't give it away.
But Piranha 3D, I was going through this list, I was like, there's a lot of horror movies.
Piranha 3D was a softcore.
It was a softcore porno.
And that occasion, Piranha 3D, I literally went and watched with my friend who is the daughter of a really locally famous preacher. It was the most awkward. It wasn't a date, but it was definitely the most awkward movie trip of my life.
Wow.
Because it was softcore porno. It's literally a guy said, I'm going to make a horror movie about piranhas.
Right.
And then his frat buddies showed up.
Said, dude.
And just shanghaied the whole thing.
What if
and,
you got
just brought
some
in naked chicks
porn
and just
stars
said,
and stuff?
Let's do all these sex scenes. And then the guy would come back, speak back up, dude, it's about killer fish. Oh yeah, we'll shoot one of those scenes right away.
Speaking of softcore films, it's also known for the Girls Gone Wild series, which is not really movies. It was on this list for some reason.
This spring break movie list is
Yeah.
recognizing Girls Gone Wild.
National Lampoon did a spring break movie. From Justin to Kelly, the American Idol movie.
Oh, yeah, dude. Spring Break, what's that?
Spring Break, a 1983 movie. I mean, a lot of these aren't very original in name. It's just like Spring Break. That's it. Mardi Gras Spring Break. She's All That.
Oh, that's a great film.
Might be the best one we've seen so far.
That
should be
She's
number
All
one.
That. I watched that like a couple of years ago. It holds up.
Revenge of the Nerds 2, Nerds in Paradise.
Okay, that just beat She's All That.
Spring, that's not a movie. You've got, we're just going through Police Academy 5.
Five, Assignment Miami.
Yeah.
Oh, that's now number one.
I mean, there's a lot of movies. Usually, spring break centers around some comedy where they go out, or a horror movie where they go out to die by sharks or something.
No one's making a spring break drama.
It's an excuse to have a lot of hot women in bikinis
right.
Yeah.
on set.
Guys, we found what we need to make a movie about.
Our untapped market, a spring break drama.
Spring break drama.
I think y'all are missing a great spring break movie, which is
Take
now being
Five.
shown as a series on the YouTube channel. Take 5, the series.
Oh no,
the movie, the series.
No.
Yes, if you're wondering what we did last spring break, you can watch our
We're
series.
technically on this list.
Yeah, we made a spot. Yeah, we did it.
It's
Congrats, guys.
It's got no scantily clad women.
No beach.
There's no beach.
There's a drug scene.
There is a drug scene, so we fit
goes
that
bad.
criteria.
There is technically a couple of sex scenes.
Is there? Loosely. We use that loosely. Okay. I just realized we're in good company. Like Police Academy 5.
Okay. So
Revenge of the Nerds
we're not
2.
terrible people.
Check out the YouTube channel.
I feel like you could put like any.
I love that Rowdy's not even like
in the movie, and I'm the one plugging it shamelessly.
Rowdy wanted to be in the movie, but he didn't. The scheduling didn't work out. Our contract, his agent was being.
I'm gonna steal the YouTube password and edit myself into it in some way.
Maybe we should make a sub story with Rowdy going on outside.
Should we post Rowdy's face just over "He Who Shall Not Be Named" since he's no longer welcome in this school?
Over. I don't know if that's a good, because we don't want people to have a negative view of Rowdy.
Oh, okay.
Because he's the villain.
That's very true.
He's the villain of Take 5 the
That's
movie.
true.
He Who Shall Not Be Named, as played by Rowdy Peacock.
We can put a disclaimer. This is not Rowdy.
This is Rowdy playing a person. So.
We're all playing parodies of ourselves.
Yes.
So,
but
anyways.
obviously, spring break is vacation.
I'm a little shocked that Frankie and Annette didn't make a spring break movie. Frankie and Annette? No one?
No.
Frankie Avalon?
I
Annette
know
Funicello? All the
He's
surf
going old
movies?
school on us. Sorry.
The surfer.
Yeah.
Movies?
The couple that
Movies
was
like
a
Beach Blanket Bingo and all that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I figured they would have a spring break in there somewhere.
I mean, this might be like just because most of these were like 2000s and 90s and 80s movies, so there might be a classier list that I didn't jump on. Yeah, Road to Padre.
Most
or
of
something.
the movies were summer movies, but I think it's somewhere. They might have got an early start.
Right.
On the season.
Because a lot of spring break now, I mean, you think of your cliche spring break, it's about partying, it's about going to the beach, scantily clad women, drugs, sex, and all that stuff.
It's the end of 22 Jump Street.
Right, yeah. Mm-hmm. So, in a lot of movies, they'll have a sequence or a time where they have to travel to a place. Technically, 22 Jump Street is a spring break movie because half the movie is at a spring
Mexico
break. Yeah, they go down there.
Yeah.
And there's movies like that. There's also movies that, not so much are spring break, but they wouldn't be lost in a group like this, like Weekend at Bernie's,
Road Trip.
Or Road Trip.
Point Break.
Point Break. I was just thinking.
Point
Break.
Yeah.
I was watching Point Break before I came here. And I almost no-showed the podcast because it's still just as good as I've ever said it was.
Yes, but I mean, it's not a genre that people talk. It's not really even a genre. Nobody goes, "Oh, the spring break movies," but it's just more of the kind of college age comedies.
It's a subset.
A subset. That would be a good way to phrase it. But and there's always movies about vacations, like National Lampoon's Vacation, European Vacation, Road Trip, as you said. A lot of road movies.
Road Trip's a spring break movie, isn't it?
It could be.
Because there's
also like
get to Texas.
There's also there's also like Euro Trip and
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that. The Hangover is more around weddings because they're getting married.
Party.
It's a bachelor party.
Yeah.
but it's definitely got the same ideas. Project X,
There's no fall break movie. We should make a fall
break movie. Where we just sit around in a cabin and drink hot coffee and cocoa.
It's fall break. It's too cold to do anything.
I'm gonna go read.
We should make a movie about fall break where we try to put on a huge rager, but it's a terrible idea because it's cold outside.
Don't tell Tommy.
He'll listen to this.
He'll know.
Somewhere Tommy's in his car doing the Nick.
he senses it. He senses the idea.
In his car, he's driving and he just went, fall break movie.
The sequel is Fall Break.
He's going to burst at the door any minute. He said he'd get here around what
He was
time?
in McAllister about
4:00?
30 minutes ago, so
then
he's still
near here.
He's close by. We sense him. We sense the Tommy. We actually just spent spring break with Tommy and his family in Little Rock, which surprisingly was a pleasant...
Oh, when he says
we,
he doesn't mean we.
Yes.
He means him and Rowdy.
And
Taryn and I were uninvited.
So
We had a great time in your honor.
Yes. Thank you. Anyway, so are there any final thoughts on just the kind of spring break party vacation movie? Any particular favorites, maybe?
Man, you named 3 that I really love.
Yeah, she's all
Revenge
that.
of the Nerds 2, she's all that, and the really underrated Police Academy 5.
Okay.
Super underrated.
Yeah.
Just because Gutenberg left doesn't mean it's not a good movie.
Right.
Was Great Outdoors set in the summer, or was it spring?
Oh, I don't
Is that a
know.
fall break movie? That would upset me.
Because I was like,
fall break movie.
because they're only there for a short time. I wouldn't think it was spring break, but it might be the summer.
I think it's the summer.
I think it's a summer
Great
movie.
Outdoors is
Otherwise,
a
Great
movie. I'm glad
Outdoors
you
would be
brought that up.
mine.
That just
Anyway,
made
if
me
you
feel all
have
warm
if you have
inside.
any of your favorites, please comment them below, and if anybody's even listening to our podcast. But
And by this point, they realize.
By
that
this point,
they're trying to do a podcast during a really slow news week.
right, so
there's
they're
nothing
just
for us to
making up
talk
stuff,
about.
pulling
I
left
think we
and
covered
right.
some pretty good
We
things.
just talked about wrestling that Taryn's going to have to edit so much of.
Well, it's why I put the time codes down below, so that way people can
Skip.
Yeah.
Yo,
All right,
talk
I'm
about
done with
wrestling?
this.
Ugh.
Gross.
I've yet to go look at the analytics.
For those of you
what our
that do
podcast
like
topics
wrestling,
are.
you can listen to Corey's wrestling podcast, the podcast of 1004
Yeah, apparently
Holds.
we're doing a WrestleMania episode.
Apparently, so look forward to that. And so,
I love that it's Corey's podcast and Corey has no idea what's going on with it. Just like, oh hey, that we're still doing that.
There's like a barbershop quartet outside this door.
They're
It's
doing.
creeping me out.
if you could hear that, it actually sounds pretty decent.
It's the Corvettes.
Yes, the Corvettes.
okay.
You're giving away our location.
I know. I didn't know how else to address it.
The Cord
A song
Vets.
and dance group at the
The
college
Cord
we
Vets.
reside by. But anyway, moving on. So there is a rumor going around about the new Avengers. So after Age of Ultron gets done, apparently our heroes will split up and there will be a new set of heroes. The new roster, and correct me if I'm wrong, Taryn, I believe it consists of Falcon, Captain America will be in charge, as will Black Widow, and then we'll have the Scarlet Witch, Vision, and I believe there was a 4th member.
Oh yeah,
Let me jump down here and look real quick.
I can't remember off the top of my head.
And War Machine. War Machine would be the 4th guy. And so it's just a rumor. We don't really know the facts, but we're not going to dive into it too much because there's a lot of it has.
all BS.
Yeah, I think a lot of it will have to do with what happens in Age of Ultron. But
yeah, well, this is insinuating that after Civil War, Captain America's the one that come out victorious on that.
Which is the exact opposite of the
Exactly.
comic. So I think they're.
I mean,
dating.
the only other reasoning on that would be if like Bucky
Was
became
Captain America.
after
Yeah.
that. But I mean, that still
Which does
doesn't
happen.
Yeah, but that still doesn't explain like why War Machine is there, and not Iron Man, and all that. So like, there's some gaps.
there's a lot to fill there and a lot to
Comic book
pieces
spoilers, by
to
the
move.
way.
Yeah, a lot of comic book spoilers right there. But anyway, rather than divulge into this rumors, we're going to actually have a little fun with it, and we decided to play a little game, a little casting call, if you will. So obviously, the Avengers came out in 2012. Put together all of our Marvel heroes, not all of them, but the ones that they
the
were
ones that
making.
Marvel had rights to.
Right,
still.
exactly. And a lot of heroes and stuff. But we thought it would be fun to go back in the time machine to 20 years earlier and try to cast the Avengers if it was made in 1992. And so, essentially, what you have to keep in mind is the actors that are playing the roles now, what are their equivalents of the 90s, you know? So you're not going to have, you can't sit here and go, oh, it used to be Will Smith and blah, 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 like every A-lister that you can think of. You got to think of, like, where were they at in their career kind of thing.
Will Smith was on top of the world
Right, that's
in
what I'm
92.
saying. That's what I'm saying. Like, he wouldn't be in the movie at the moment. He would be doing something else. And so...
I don't know, like... I mean, he found time to do Independence Day.
Right, but
so...
that was a big blockbuster movie. That's what I'm saying. So.
And Avengers was a big blockbuster movie, too.
But it was a big gamble as well.
Oh, yeah.
So...
Okay, let's see here.
Because nobody knew if that was actually going to be a...
No one knew Independence Day was going to be the big summer blockbuster either, so...
But that was also back when people had original ideas.
Well, yeah. So I feel like saying, oh, Will Smith now can't be in this is sort of like a...
But, you know, you can't have, like, Will Smith and so-and-so and, like, Tom Hanks and every, like, A-lister of the 90s.
I don't know, that's kind of how the 90s did it.
I guess so. But anyway...
the 90s wasn't afraid to put a lot on a big name.
They weren't a little afraid of that. Okay. Maybe I'm thinking too deeply into this. Rowdy, do you have any casting ideas yet? Do you want me to start?
From 92?
Mm-hmm. Just the general 90s.
Let's say a character and let's go around them.
So, Captain America.
Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise.
Yeah, Tom Cruise.
I think with Tom Cruise,
Top Gun just sold it.
He was at that point in time. He was the leading man. He was America.
The Firm, Rain Man, all this stuff was under his belt.
Mission Impossible came in the late 90s.
Yeah.
And so he was still a bit young, and Chris Pine is a bit not Chris Pine.
A few good men was happening.
It's not Chris Pine. It's Chris Evans. Chris Evans. He's a little bit young still. He's still proving himself as an actor to an extent. And so I think, you can't really go wrong with Tom Cruise as Captain America. At 90s Tom Cruise would be great.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's just move on. Iron Man. My vote was Jeff Goldblum.
See, I want Goldblum for Bruce Banner.
For Bruce Banner? See, my vote for Bruce Banner would be John Cusack.
Okay.
You see what I'm...
Yeah.
Because Mark Ruffalo isn't...
Whoa, we're skipping.
Well, yeah,
we're just jumping around the conversation.
Yeah.
But Mark Ruffalo's not... You don't think of him as Captain America or... You know, Thor, he's not the big buff guy. He's the smaller guy that turns into the big green killing machine.
I mean, my mentality for Jeff Goldblum as Bruce Banner is just Ian Malcolm in Jurassic Park.
Right, yeah.
Being that sort of cocky scientist type guy.
I just envisioned Goldblum in the suit and was just like, yes, please.
Yeah, I totally see where you're going with that as well. So,
Rowdy, Iron Man?
Oh, man.
Corey?
Keanu Reeves.
Keanu Reeves is Iron Man?
Oh, gosh.
Yeah. Keanu Reeves, like hands down.
Was it Robert Downey
What a
Jr.?
bit.
What, Robert Downey Jr. is still a big...
But you have to think
deal
about...
still
He
at
was.
that time, though.
He was. You're talking back then. He hadn't hit drugs yet. He was.
Are we talking about Keanu or Downey?
Robert Downey Jr. was up for an Oscar in the early '90s for
Chaplin. Yeah.
He still could have been
But
Iron
Keanu
Man
was
back
not
then.
up for an Oscar. Keanu was not up for an
he's
Oscar.
Iron Man.
it's
at that
eternal.
point in time.
But Keanu was making Point Break and the Bill and Ted sequel and all sorts of crap back then.
But
he was making films.
Do you really believe Keanu to be a scientist? I mean,
yes,
He was still that surfer bro.
yeah, he was
phase.
still surfer bro Keanu.
Like it was.
He was surfer. It was like Surfer Sting era. Like he didn't go to the Matrix and get edgy on us.
Iron Man 1, Tony Stark is sort of like this thrill seeker sort of guy, so that could.
But I could see
that
the
could play
first
into
time
it.
the hand, like the
I'm also
gun goes
looking
off in his hand, Keanu just it activates. He goes, whoa!
And that's the climate of '92.
Yeah.
We weren't making these kinds of films in it like back
it's
then.
so hard doing this in hindsight and how laughable it is.
Because in
back then,
'92
that
we
was-
would have just been casting heartthrobs. We wouldn't have been looking at like
Oh, can
De
they
Niro,
play?
who's this established actor, and like because De Niro would have been that.
I mean,
age
look at
Iron Man now.
You don't even have to go that far back to look at like the James Bond movies where like supermodels were playing scientists.
Yeah.
So
I'm just saying,
That's
'92,
true.
Keanu Reeves is Iron Man.
okay, all right, fair enough.
You said Robert De Niro for a second. I really thought about it.
That's like
He would have
70s.
been that. He
Yeah.
would have
That's
been.
70s Avengers. We'll
No,
get
no,
there.
no. You're looking at like De Niro in '92 would have been about the age Robert Downey Jr. is now, probably.
But he looked older. That was the thing.
Yeah, he looked older.
Because that was what Heat was done in 90.
95,
Yeah.
mid 90s or so.
It was the Val Kilmer era, so you're talking 95, 96.
Oh crap! Val Kilmer could have been Iron Man.
Tombstone was still a year away from coming out.
You know.
Because
Okay.
like there for about 3 years in the 90s, Val Kilmer was the dude.
I'm still thinking. Yeah, I'm convinced now. Val Kilmer. And
No.
now I think about it, Val Kilmer is Iron Man.
And you're all forgetting. Well, I guess Michael Keaton was already Batman at this point, so you
Yeah.
can't really.
He would have been a great Iron Man.
He would have been a pretty good Iron Man.
Yeah.
Keanu Reeves is Iron Man. With Tom Cruise.
Okay.
As Captain America.
Just Tom Cruise mad
This is my
because
world.
I'm a genius playboy, millionaire philanthropist.
Robert De Niro could have been Odin.
Odin. Yeah.
Oh wow, yeah, that'd have been great actually.
Or
Al Pacino.
Okay,
Okay, so-
let's move on to Thor.
Thor?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good one.
I got it. For me, I got 2 picks. I can't decide between the two. Well, I'm leaning more one way, but I still want to mention it.
Know it. I got it.
Heat was 95.
Okay.
So just so you know.
My second tier choice would be Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Arnold Schwarzenegger's Thor. Now
Yeah.
that's when we get in the 80s. That's a whole different ballgame.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you're pretty much you could easily just fill all those roles with Jean-Claude Van Damme, Sylvester Stallone, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and John McClane.
But my
So,
top tier
Bruce
choice
Willis.
is Patrick Swayze.
Swayze.
That's my vote.
Yeah.
It's Swayze. Swayze is Thor.
I was
Okay.
also thinking of Kurt Russell,
Kurt
but still
Russell.
Swayze.
Yeah.
Still
Yeah,
Swayze.
Kurt Russell could go 80s or 90s.
Kurt
So
Russell would be Hawkeye.
He'd be a good Hawkeye.
Yeah.
He'd be a good Hawkeye.
I would say Swayze.
Swayze for Thor.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think it's any better than Swayze.
All right.
For Thor.
Bruce Banner. Now I've said John Cusack,
And I said Jeff Goldblum.
and you said Goldblum, who I said for Iron Man.
Yeah.
Corey
Huh?
for Bruce Banner.
Hulk.
For Bruce Banner?
Yeah. Hulk.
Johnny Depp.
Okay. All right. Okay.
I'm looking at
that
the
was
Gilbert Grape in
Yeah.
The Nick of Time back
Mhm.
then.
the more
Johnny Depp could have played a
quirky-
more nerdy character.
not
Okay.
overly quirky, but more the that guy.
Have you ever seen Nick of Time? Like,
Yeah.
That movie
Mhm.
where he has glasses and short
Mhm.
hair.
And he's-
That's Bruce Banner.
Yeah.
For
There
me.
it is. Okay.
Okay.
That's fair enough. Rowdy. Bruce Banner.
Matthew Broderick.
Matthew Broderick. Okay. All right.
Oh,
I'm not mad about it.
I would have saved that for the 80s myself, but
It-
no, that
where
works.
He's like,
It would have
you
given
wouldn't like me when I'm
Godzilla
angry.
such
It's
a
just
different
Matthew
feel.
Broderick saying that.
He just
with-
turns to the camera and says that he won't like me when I'm angry.
Yeah.
Just pulls
Those are
it.
actually. What'd you say?
Well, it would have given Godzilla a whole different feel
No,
later
but
on.
who was your pick?
Oh, Jeff Goldblum.
These are all not bad.
Right.
These are all not
Yeah.
bad.
I mean, it's Dreamcasting.
But then
so-
again, I think Depp would have been a good Iron Man. I'm reclassing it to where Depp is Iron Man and River Phoenix is Captain America.
Oh,
It's in '92. River Phoenix
It was like
It's
20
still
something.
kicking.
Oh my god.
and DiCaprio somewhere saying, "Sorry, man, you didn't get the role."
Okay, guys, this is instantly going to be the most listened to podcast because I am going to tag it with River
Okay.
Phoenix.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, we have our most popular video, River Phoenix. Go watch
The
it.
Avengers was made in '92. DiCaprio began to call from his agent. Sorry,
Sorry, you're
Phoenix got the Captain
not. You're not
America
ready
role.
yet.
But you can be Bucky.
You could be the orphan kid in Growing Pains.
Yeah. There you go.
Got it. What about Nick Fury?
Nick Fury.
In
My
92.
vote was Carl Winslow in '92. So that way, Avengers, Die Hard. What was the other one we watched? That had it? Ghostbusters. They're all
Ghostbusters,
canon, and Carl Winslow just happened to step up and become the leader of Shield after being and Family Matters.
He would have had to done Family Matters and the Avengers at the same
Well, it's
time.
a cameo essentially,
Yeah.
so it's not like he has.
Wesley Snipes. If we're
Okay.
going with
Pre-
black, if we're going
pre-
with
okay.
black,
Got
it.
blue,
Okay.
canon,
Got
Nick
it.
Fury, Wesley Snipes.
Otherwise, I'd have said Bruce Willis.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah, he'd
yeah.
have been a good one. Older Bruce Willis. Yes. Okay, Black Widow. My vote was Uma Thurman.
92.
92, up and coming.
Okay, she was in
Young.
Batman and Robin. That came out in '98, right? Or
97.
97.
98.
You're saying
era.
Alicia Silverstone?
No.
Oh.
Well, no, Uma Thurman
Batman
was
and Robin
Poison
was
Ivy.
97, but that was around the same time as Pulp Fiction, because Pulp Fiction was 94.
Hmm.
And so it would have been right before probably she jettisoned into superstardom. But
Yeah.
but this we could say early 90s just
Okay,
to kind of throw
okay.
in different characters into the conversation.
92, Winona Ryder.
Winona Ryder.
Yeah.
Robin Wright.
I don't know about Winona Ryder. I mean, she'd be more like Natalie Portman, like Thor's girlfriend at that point. Because she's young.
Don't badmouth Winona Ryder.
Hey, I didn't say... I gave her a role. I didn't say she couldn't play. Or Gina Davis. could have a
Gina
fun
Davis
role.
would not. That would be a good solid pick.
But or she
Other,
could be.
she's like
She
a
could
foot
be
taller
the.
than every other dude.
She could
just
be
cast.
Robert Straczynski, the equivalent to that. She could be the Shield
That would be
director.
Wait, you talking about for Gina or Winona?
Gina.
Gina would be a good, just because she's redhead.
Yeah.
A good. She's just tall.
That's the thing.
Compared
Well, she
to
could.
all the dudes we just casted,
Yeah.
she'd be the tallest member of the
Or, if you think about it, even like a Tom Hanks would be good as a Bruce Banner at that point. in his
No, Tom
career.
Hanks would be good. I was trying to figure out a way to put him in here.
Yeah.
For a split second, I thought you were still talking about Black Widow.
Oh, no.
Nick,
Tom
what kind
Hanks
of movie
is
are you
Black
wanting?
Widow. And then, of course, I guess young Denzel Washington would also be a good one to throw in there somewhere.
For Nick Fury.
Maybe Nick
Yeah.
Fury. Oh, he's younger. But he's younger.
That's true.
So
Well,
maybe
is
maybe
Wesley
Falcon.
Snipes. It would have been
Falcon
a
maybe.
younger one.
I would put Denzel as Falcon before I put him as Fury, and Wesley Snipes as Fury.
Yeah, that's true. Okay,
But-
moving on. Who's left?
Let's see. And Hawkeye. You had said Kurt Russell would be a good
Yeah.
Hawkeye.
Christian Slater.
Christian Slater.
Christian
Okay.
Slater. Perfect. He's just not quite there.
Yeah,
Like,
he's
he's
right.
that guy that like.
He's
man,
there's a
just
glass
too many,
ceiling.
Oh, there's too many heartthrobs.
That's a good one. That's good. Yes. Yeah.
Man,
Let me
it
think.
could be a good breakout role for Brad Pitt.
It could.
Instead
Yeah.
of Thelma
Yes.
Louise.
There you go.
Instead of
Okay,
Thelma
now you're
Louise,
thinking.
it could
Now
have
you're
been
thinking.
Hawkeye
Yeah.
in the '92 Avengers.
Mhm.
I cheated and started actually looking up a
That's
lot
fine.
of 90s
That's fine.
actresses.
Okay.
Oh, I've been
That's
doing that.
Charlize Theron
Oh.
would have been great. Black Widow.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
What was
yeah.
her big movie in the early '90s though? What? She
Yeah,
known
like-
for Monster in the early 2000s.
Late 90s, she had Mighty Joe Young.
Yeah.
Oh yeah! Wow.
That's thrown into the Wayback Machine. Let's see here. Going
Man,
back.
early '90s Mickey Rourke.
The Astronaut's Wife in '99. That Thing You Do, she was in that.
Yeah.
Yeah, she wasn't that thing you do. She
Liv
was the
Tyler
girlfriend.
could still play Bruce Banner's love interest.
Wow.
That's how she hasn't aged at all. Children of the Corn 3. So 95 was about Charlize Theron's, like, she was starting the horror movie circuit and starting to get okay roles.
Because I feel like I'm gonna change my Iron Man road now. I think Mickey Rourke in '92.
In 92
Is Iron Man.
Is Iron Man. Okay. Yeah. Okay, I see
Like he was cool.
that. Yeah.
I mean, he's still cool, but he's like old guy cool. Back then, he was just.
he was the crazy rehabilitated.
Yeah, he
drug
was Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah.
But he wasn't through being drugged.
Wait, Mickey Rourke.
I don't know if Mickey Rourke's ever stopped drugging out.
Was-
Probably not.
It's just the constant roller
Wasn't
coaster.
he in a superhero movie here?
He was Whiplash in Iron Man 2.
Yeah.
That's
He was
right.
the villain, so there you go. Yeah. Let's see. Loki. There you go.
Oh, whoa!
That probably changes a lot of thoughts on the list here.
Kevin Spacey.
I want Kevin Spacey for Agent Coulson or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's young Kevin Spacey, so he's fit. He's still a little balding though. This is pre-7, so he's not psychopathic yet, but he's definitely the cool guy in the room.
In '92, Jim Carrey.
Jim Carrey is good lord.
Oh.
Then they would have
They did
off
not-
the
they-
Batman movies. They
they
would have
didn't
been
go
like,
on there. They
"You gotta
didn't
get a
go
villain." They'd have
They
been
did
like,
Jim
"Get
Carrey.
Jim Carrey." Oh, they want him for the Riddler. No, we got a better role for him. He's fighting all the A-listers.
Wait, I'm the god of mischief. Which
Wait,
that's the whole premise of the
the
mask.
mask!
That's the whole premise of the mask. Is
The mask
not
is Loki's mask!
Oh my gosh! Wasn't that also in '92?
Yeah!
Oh my god!
A whole different Loki.
Loki.
94 to be exact.
okay.
94,
But
okay.
yeah, in our general field of play.
I mean, if we're in '92, maybe we don't care about him being like pretty. If
Right,
it didn't work out,
yeah.
Robin Williams.
Oh,
He's on his A game.
He's-
in the
he's-
early
Yeah.
'90s.
he's reaching he's middle aged there. Yeah, okay.
He's in his 30s at least.
30s, Jumanji era, Hook era.
40s.
More Hook than Jumanji,
More
because
Hook
Jumanji
than-
was
yeah,
in later
90s. Okay. So that would be fun. So basically, yeah, we're going with the '90s cliche of let's
How
just
we
get the
would
crazy
cast
person.
in the 90s, yeah.
So those are good ideas.
I mean, if we were like casting, I mean, it would be River Phoenix.
But you also have to
if
keep in
he was
mind
back then, and we were trying to do the heartthrob
Now
fanboy.
but he also
role.
has to be put next to Thor, which is our Patrick Swayze. So they have to look around the same age.
Well, no, Loki's adopted.
But he's adopted, but they grew up together, and that's the thing. So
And then Jim Carrey.
Then Jim Carrey would have to
Yeah.
be the. Could you imagine Patrick Swayze and Jim Carrey having to have a conversation?
Why did that movie never happen?
I would watch the crap out of that movie.
Oh, rest in peace, Patrick Swayze.
Oh gosh. Odin. Do we have any Odin ideas?
Robert De Niro.
De Niro.
Steve Martin.
Steve Martin. just go
Steve
crazy.
Martin.
Or Marlon Brando. Was he still alive at that point?
Yeah, but Marlon Brando spent the last
10 years.
2-3 decades of his career just crapping on it.
Oh, that's funny.
What's wrong with Steve Martin? Why is everybody laughing at Steve Martin?
That's you put the prominent older actor in there, I don't know who was alive at that point, like a Charles Heston or something, like that guy that's not getting any roles because he's old, but you're
Steve
here,
Martin was
let's give you a prominent
Father of the Bride.
He was
great.
Robert Williams'
Three
age.
Amigos.
He was doing great stuff. Let's let him do that stuff.
Oh God, I can't believe I've lost his name. He was a legend. He played Marcus Aurelius in Gladiator. Harris.
Gladiator.
Is it Charles Harris? No.
Charlton Heston?
He died during
Yeah.
the filming. He played his the Gladiator owner guy.
No, I'm talking about.
You talking about
Who played Marcus
Emperor,
Aurelius?
yeah.
Oh, okay. Let me jump.
He was the first
through here.
Dumbledore.
Okay, yeah.
Richard Harris.
Richard Harris.
Yeah,
That's right.
Richard
Richard
Harris.
Harris would have been Thor.
Or Odin, you mean?
Odin,
yeah.
whatever, not Thor. Oh God, no.
That's in our 60s or 50s or 40s Avengers. This could be a fun thing. We could keep. Okay, we're closing in on our peak time here. Let's see.
Can we do the 80s?
We can do the 80s, yeah.
Can we just do the
Is there
80s?
any? Do we miss anybody?
80s.
Did we miss
I
anybody?
don't think we missed
I don't think we
anybody.
did, no.
Okay, just checking.
Unless you want to get
Unless you want to
into,
do cop
And don't
number
forget
3.
that any of the people, there's War Machine and all the other ones that we can
Wesley
insert.
Snipes would be a fantastic
He'd be
war machine.
Yeah, he would.
But wait, I thought he was Nick Fury.
Well, I mean, we have other backups. We had,
Denzel Washington
Yeah.
would be a great War Machine.
But he was Falcon.
Then we can get Will Smith. Will Smith can be Falcon.
Okay.
Because he's up and coming.
Yeah,
there we go.
He is up and
There,
coming.
that's how you sneak him
Yeah.
in. There he is. So, all right, let's move on. Let's go back to the 80s.
Woody Harrelson as Loki.
In
In 92.
92.
In 92.
Before we go back.
Sorry, it's Woody Harrelson.
All right.
I just cast it.
You got it. Okay.
I don't know.
So,
I'm really a
the
big
80s.
fan of the Jim
Okay.
Carrey.
That is alrighty then. That's great. Okay, so the 80s. Let's start with Captain America. Now, keep in mind, this is a different era.
Yeah.
So action stars are the Schwarzeneggers. They're the Sylvester
We somehow
Stallone.
cast Schwarzenegger as Captain America.
Here's my thought. Here's my thought
Dolph
on
Lundgren.
it. Would Schwarzenegger play one of the Avengers, or would he play the Hulk to the Bruce Banner? Because this is practical effects.
Yeah,
time.
this is practical effects. So
That's 92 as well, though.
But yeah, so who? But would they get Schwarzenegger at that point?
93 was Jurassic Park, which was the first believable CGI.
So they would still probably use a guy in a suit to play Hulk. So who?
I would have said, honestly, in the
wrestler-
early 90, it would have been Schwarzenegger.
The Schwarzenegger in the early 90s.
The Hulk. I would have said 92.
Hulk.
Schwarzenegger would have
Okay.
been Hulk.
Okay.
Hands down.
Because in the 80s, he'd probably be cast on or in the short list for Thor
Mhm.
because of Conan.
Yeah.
Okay. But Captain America, young up and coming guy, red, white, and blue, who represented America more than anybody.
I still like Dolph Lundgren.
Dolph Lundgren as Captain
He'd have
America.
turned around from playing
The
Ivan
Russian.
Drago to Captain America.
What about a young Sylvester Stallone?
What about Emilio Estevez?
It's Rocky. It's Rocky.
But he's huge!
But it's Captain America. He's got this. He's been given all the drugs and stuff. The serum. What is it called? The super soldier
Are we
serum.
giving wait, what's the exact year I'm working with here?
Let's
Because
say
92 it
85.
helped that I had 92.
I mean, I would say 82, but let's go with 85.
No, let's go later. Let's go 88.
88. Okay. 88.
So 4 years.
So 4 years back.
Okay, fine. 87.
That's how much
87.
the world.
Can we have
87, 88. Yeah.
Okay, 87.
Because that's right in the middle of all the action movie madness that happened. Stallone's in the middle of the Rocky series. He is America. Rocky
Chuck
4.
Norris.
Yeah. Rocky 4 came out. When did that pop out?
Chuck Norris is his own superhero.
Chuck Norris is Captain America.
Rocky 4 was in 85, so he just came off being the representative of America.
So wait, I'm in 87.
You're in 87.
And this is Captain America?
This is Captain America.
This
Or
is going to sound like really meta, but
okay.
Robert Downey Jr.
The role is eternal. It was always supposed to be him.
No, I can do better. For Captain America...
Or Bruce Willis is still on the table. Don't forget,
I think
young Bruce
Matthew
Willis.
Broderick is a good one.
But he's like Ferris Bueller at that point. He's
Yeah,
still
but
a young teenager. I mean, unless you
So
get
I'm still going with the 80s style of casting.
Okay.
That's 80s style casting. We'd be casting
There
like
is an aspect of this that we haven't discussed yet. Had Marvel given movie rights to Sony yet? Does Sony own Spider-Man at this point?
Charlie Sheen
As
in
Captain
87.
He's
as
Iron
Captain
Man.
America.
He's Iron Man.
He's a great Iron Man.
Oh, if not that, then he'd be the 80s Batman.
Ooh.
Nobody talks about him. I'm like, because in The Dark Knight, like, there's a look that Christian Bale gives several times. I'm just like, that's freaking Charlie Sheen when he's pretending to be Bruce Wayne, quote unquote, like the drunken millionaire. It's like he's basing it. I think he watched 2.5 Men, was like, that's who I'm basing Bruce Wayne off of, Charlie Sheen.
You know, if he hadn't just made Superman 4, Christopher Reeve
for Captain
would
America
have been an amazing Captain America.
He just owns all of the red, white, and blue characters.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's just switch him over. You know, no big deal. just okay. So we've talked a little bit of Captain America. I think
Captain America, I think, is the toughest.
Yeah.
Let's jump around a little bit. So Iron Man, you know, Charlie Sheen's there. You know, a younger Bruce Willis could be fun as Iron Man.
Yeah. Before he got all
he could also be Bruce Willis could also be Hawkeye, because he didn't reach superstardom until '88 with Die Hard.
Now I'm saying, and just bear with me, but Tom Hanks would have been a good Iron Man.
Tom Hanks.
He doesn't have to be huge. He
Right,
just has to be
right.
witty
He
and
just has
fast
to be witty
talking.
and smart.
Yeah.
Okay. That's young Tom Hanks. Okay.
I'd say Tom Hanks would be a good one in the suit.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Rowdy, any thoughts? What about
like
Thor? Thor, are we all just like kind of like going Schwarzenegger's got that?
Yeah.
Because
Or
this
John
is
Claude.
And he did not catch on, but in the 80s, Judd Nelson would have been
a fantastic Iron Man. He would have been great.
A great
Yeah.
Iron Man.
Mm-hmm.
Judd Nelson.
Yes.
I'm a huge mark for Judd Nelson in the 80s.
So yeah, the Hulk.
My favorite member of the Brat
So
Pack.
if we have Schwarzenegger as Thor, who's going to play Bruce Banner Hulk? Because it has to be two different people.
I'd still have Schwarzenegger play Bruce Banner Hulk and have Hulk Hogan play Thor.
I feel,
That's the first. Let me tell you something, all my Thor maniacs.
They put a beard around his mustache,
the Avengers is so hard. Part of me wants to
and he
just
wears the
cast-
helmet because he can't wear a bandana. He has to wear the actual Thor helmet.
I don't know who my target market is in the 80s. So guys, I'm trying to cast half the Brat Pack, but like there's also the action stars.
Right, that's you're
Like,
combating.
what am I doing?
You're combating John Hughes
'Cause I'm
versus
like-
Sylvester Stallone.
Because that's my thing. I'm looking at like Rob Lowe as Captain America and Judd Nelson as Iron Man.
But you got to think about like the big
And, like-
cartoony way that the '80s was.
and like
Rock and
John
wrestling.
Hughes is directing the Avengers. Like,
So essentially we have to have the John Hughes version of Avengers where they're all moody and talking
can
about
we
their
please
problems.
do a segment where we're all in detention but we're superheroes?
And, yes. And then
Tell
we
me
have
somewhere.
so there's Nick, I have an idea. And then there's the John Hughes Avengers, and then there's the action Avengers, which has Schwarzenegger and all of them.
Because I feel like the action one just casts itself.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think
There's two.
Thor is Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Captain America's probably
Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Okay, that'd be really difficult considering he's never gotten rid of an accent.
So he played Guile in Street Fighter.
It's true.
Not that
And
that
Guile's
movie
theme
holds up
goes
at
with
all.
Or Guile is, or Van Damme is Loki.
Oh, okay.
Damn, been a great Logan.
Okay,
like
sold on that.
Now, if you told me Tom Hiddleston's like dead and like we recasted Jean-Claude Van Damme, like
it still works.
That's awesome. Like I think that's the greatest casting in the world.
So he's Loki because he's a great villain. Schwarzenegger's Thor.
Bruce Willis is Captain America.
Bruce Willis is Captain America. Okay, or
I
Hawkeye.
guess he hasn't hit on yet.
He could be Hawkeye because he hasn't broke through yet. Stallone, I think, would power move his way into Captain America.
It'd just be weird seeing Captain America and Thor being the same size. But it's the 80s, yeah.
It's the 80s.
Yeah. So who's Hulk Hogan?
Iron Man. He said Thor for Thor, or Hulk Hogan for Thor.
Thor for Thor. And then Schwarzenegger play the
Hulk
Green Hulk
again. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we have a Bruce Banner younger.
I would say
Michael J. Fox.
I'd say
Michael J.
I'd say in an acting climate they would.
Oh my God!
Who?
Michael J. Fox as Bruce Banner.
Yes.
Turns into Arnold Schwarzenegger the Hulk.
Okay, I would reverse it though. I would assume Hulk Hogan, who's not actually an actor, would be the Green Monster, and
you
the Austrian playing Thor.
Don't forget about Andre the Giant.
Who would he be?
He could be the Hulk.
He would be massive. He's immobile at this point.
Next to Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sylvester Stallone, he has to be bigger.
That's true.
Hulk Hogan will just be a little bit bigger and be like, he got bigger.
Like by Hulk Hogan.
Like you gotta get, like you saw the photo.
Michael J. Fox was such a game changer.
But he could. That's it. He could be Bruce Banner.
Bruce Banner.
Or like you said, Sony doesn't own Spider-Man. Michael J. Fox as Spider-Man.
Yeah. That could work too.
Ooh, that's perfect.
That's perfect.
You don't cast that any better.
That's not.
Michael J. Fox is
not
Peter Parker.
Upon. Yeah. Oh gosh.
I just bought Teen Wolf on Blu-ray. It's great.
So then Bruce Banner, that's the room for like the one actor to come in and actually be like, oh, I'm here. Yeah, I bring critical praise to this thing. But who's the Nick Fury? And do you go Samuel Jackson route, or do you go the classic Nick Fury?
I think you have to have David Hasselhoff.
David Hasselhoff. Mm-hmm. If not, you could have had Ghostbuster. What's his name? Ernie Hudson as Nick Fury.
Yeah, I could see it.
But there's also Falcon, which I think
is Eddie Murphy.
Eddie Murphy is Falcon.
Hands down.
Yes. And then
yes.
Who else? There was a third.
War Machine. That could be Ernie Hudson if we have a Hasselhoff Nick Fury.
Who would be 80s Black Widow?
80s Black
Molly
Widow.
Ringwald.
Molly Ringwald.
Okay.
There is no other
option. I'm trying to think of a counter.
There is no counter.
This is it. This is what we have.
Isaac suggested Pam Anderson, and I was like, Isaac, that's 90s.
Yeah, 90s.
Baywatch happened.
Why did we bring that up earlier? That would have
forgot.
Yeah,
that would have worked.
Well, not 92. We were like early 90s.
If late 90s, that might have been.
Yeah.
Like, we got to oversex this.
Or Carmen Electra. Yeah.
Carmen Electra. Oh, she doesn't age. Anyway.
You okay?
No, I'm good. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. So we had Schwarzenegger's Thor, Captain America's Stallone. This is the action one. Hulk is Hulk Hogan or Andre the Giant to make him super huge. And who's our Bruce Banner?
I thought we said Michael J. Fox.
Oh, no, Spider-Man's Michael J. Fox.
So, yeah, we didn't go back to Bruce Banner after that.
Bruce Banner and Iron Man, did we say... Because he doesn't have to be a buffed up guy either, but the 80s, they might just pick somebody. Who do we have left in our group?
The 80s, they would have picked... They would have picked an older guy.
An older guy?
Yeah.
Or Mel Gibson.
Or Mel Gibson! There it is!
Mel Gibson!
Yes, Mel Gibson is Iron Man. Because he's been back to this point. He's crazy.
He could have been Captain America also.
He could have also been
Mel Gibson could have been any of these.
Yeah, he could have been any of these in the 80s. He could do no wrong in the 80s.
He could have had an all Mel Gibson Avengers.
Yeah. Mel Gibson is.
I would pay money to see that.
I'd like to see Mel Gibson who played the Punisher in the 80s.
Okay. And I guess Agent Coulson for the 80s.
Oh, I don't know.
Al Pacino. No.
I think he was a little. We'd have to look at the 70s.
Martin.
Yeah. Steve Martin.
I'm cramming Steve Martin somewhere in this.
You do need to have a comedic actor play Agent Coulson. Someone that can be the...
Plays who?
Agent Coulson.
Oh.
Dan Aykroyd.
Bill
Murray.
Bill Murray is Iron Man.
Oh my god.
Okay, now we're doing the SNL casting.
Oh, we have time.
There's so many different elements of the 80s that they would do.
This is going to be an ongoing skit for the next month.
Okay. Well, anyway, I think that's a good time. We'll think about this a little more, and we'll the 80s is a tough one, so we'll think about it some more, and then maybe talk about it next time. Anyway, does anybody have any final thoughts? Any birthdays? Any birthdays? So anyway, while Corey's looking at birthdays, make sure to tune into our series that's coming out usually Monday or Tuesday. Make sure to tune into the rest of our podcast if you want to see what else we talk about. Look for the podcast of 1004 Holds, and be on the radar. Look out for Taryn's new show, Does It Hold Up, which will be coming soon. We don't have a date for it yet. And pretty much that's it. Mm-hmm. So, are you ready for the birthdays?
My phone's just doing
Your phone's just doing that?
There are no famous birthdays today.
No famous born today. I'll pull it up for us. So, Reese Witherspoon today.
Okay. And she's getting
William
divorced,
Shatner.
apparently.
Oh, today's William Shatner's birthday.
William Shatner's birthday.
Holy
Shat?
Keegan from Key and Peele. Key and Peele.
Oh, wow.
We have, let's see here. This is Sunday, so it's going to be 2 days late, but nobody cares. That's pretty much the list of famous people.
There's a lot of famous people that are like...
Yeah.
People we don't acknowledge.
Mm-hmm. But anyway, any other final thoughts?
No.
Okay. All right.
This podcast was slightly better than last week.
Slightly. We hit a gimmick this
You're
time.
welcome.
All right. Well, we'll catch you guys next time. Have a good week. Later.
That's a wrap.